First off, Dr. Dave White, I want you to get that I am so privileged and feel so appreciative of you being here and being able to spend the next hour with us because I really got you, especially could be anywhere else, and you're with us here. So thank you. I really do appreciate you.
You got it. Good to be with you.
Yeah, man. So what we're going to do is we're going to dive in, and I really want to get your real heartfelt, intimate beliefs around things, and really as a preview to what's it like to be with Dave as the coach, and inside the context of what is transformation. So let's just start with, what is transformation?
That's a great question. Well, obviously, people are going through life and they want change. They want to be the better you, the better them. They want to see catalytic, dynamic movement in something, right? They want their dreams to come true. They want to think better, feel better. Transformation has to do with, them. It's the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. They want a metamorphosis of some kind. And so, that's beautiful talk. And, it's a beautiful picture seeing a butterfly or something. But how does it happen? And, how long does it take? And can it happen? And I think a lot of people come into the coaching world saying, I've read a lot of books, I've seen a lot of YouTubes, I've heard a lot of podcasts, but I really want to change. Where do we go? And transformation has to do with, where are we going to go? How's it going to happen? And what are the ingredients for that to occur?
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Let me ask you this. You kind of brought it with some people read a lot of books, right? They've hit some threshold. What do you say? Is there any key elements to the threshold you've noticed when they're ready for the coach? And everybody's had their own transformation. They've been persevering and growing and learning, and they've had those things by themselves. When are they ready for the coach? What have you noticed?
Well, they could be ready at any time, but I think, a lot of people are like, I don't have a lot of resources. I'm willing to invest in something that'll help me go from A to B. That's something that'll catapult me further and faster than I can go on my own. But in general, people are like, I want to go on my own as far as I can. So I think it's great. People are reading great books. There's great resources out there. There's great podcasts out there. They can do some self-learning. They can get online. They can take courses. There's lots of stuff you can do, which builds the knowledge base, which builds the awareness base. But, I have a lot of books and notebooks and seminars and conferences, but those alone are not sufficient for transformation. But it's a great start, right? It's a great start to say, you're trying to build a business or come up with a new logo or whatever, might as well go read some stuff on it and get your head in the ballgame. But eventually people cap out. They get to the end of like, I've done my reading and stuff, but I can't make it happen. So that's a great place to start. Look, if your car breaks and you can put the oil in it or the gas it needs, do it. But when you're like, it's not running and I look under the hood and don't know where to go now, get a mechanic. So I think a coach is a great place to come in when you've done what you can do, and then you're ready for someone's expertise to take you further.
Got that. And as the expert or as the mechanic in this metaphor, what is it? Where do you see the real value besides, this is my life, right? How is it that somebody outside of my life is going to help me with what I'm up to? Like, what are some of the mechanics inside of that?
Well, I'm a PhD, I'm a doctor, I'm a physician of the soul. So, it's like if someone gets physically sick, they think, oh, I got a cough, I got this or that, and they may try some cough syrup or a couple of things. Great. If you can nip it and do it, great. But a lot of people misunderstand their symptoms, right? They think it's just a cough, it's pneumonia. They think it's just this, it's that. They think I just got a scratch and it's no big deal. They did a little Neosporin, but all of a sudden they've got something growing up their arm, and it's like you got something deeper. Now you need, if you don't have the expertise, now you need a doctor to help you with that. So I think for me, a lot of guys and gals, they go on the journey, they do the best they can, but many times they need an outside person because, one, you have blind spots. Two, you're not objective about yourself. You know things about yourself that I don't know, but the outside person can see things you don't see often. And oftentimes we misdiagnose ourselves. The problem is not a hot forehead.
Mm.
The fever or the hot forehead is that you got a bacteria or a virus going on, and it's much deeper. The goal isn't just to put ice on your forehead and go, well, it's not hot anymore. No, no, no. That was the symptom that there's a deeper problem, and not everyone gets the deeper problem. They may recognize the symptoms. The tree is wilty, but the problem isn't wilty tree. It needs water.
Mm.
They see the holes on the leaves, so they think, oh, my tree has holes on the leaves. I've got a hole in the leaves problem. No, you have bugs, um, and a specific kind of bug, and you want someone who can treat that. So I think everyone should do as much as they can in terms of self-awareness, thinking through their own story, writing pros and cons, goals. But sometimes we misdiagnose, sometimes we're a little blind to our own stuff, and sometimes we need the expertise of someone who can help get our symptoms linked to really our root issues.
Yeah, got it. And one of the things maybe you can speak to is I heard symptoms and I'm dealing with something and I'm obviously got enough pain to why I'm coming here. But one of the biggest benefits I've found to coaching is just what I was thinking got so much bigger. Like the way I could think got just so much better and bigger than what I could ever have assumed by myself. What do you see about that, or what do you see the coach's place in that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I do think, there's something great about coaching that can allow you to have a bigger vision, a little grander, a little bolder. But I might add, there's also I think a good coach is candid enough and courageous enough to also keep the person living within the limits and the finitude of their being. A lot of entrepreneurs and people today are like, if you can dream it, you can do it. Well, that's just not true. Just because you can dream it doesn't mean you can do it. We have limits of time, energy, resources, money, investment. So sometimes the coach helps amplify, like, Brian, you think you can write a book? I think you could write 10. I hear 10 books in your head. Let's get them on paper and get them out. But sometimes the person has a grandiosity, and it's like they diminish the smaller, and the coach's role is to go, wait a minute. You don't need to do a conference with 200,000 people right now. You don't need to do a conference with 200 people. If you could host an event with 2 people, you will double your life. If you can host it with 20 people, wow. So sometimes we have to get people out of the grandiosity and said, if you really want to be an influencer, you really want to have an impact, you can quadruple your life. All you need is 4 people to read your book, hear your message, take your training, whatever. And sometimes we have to get them back into reality.
Totally. Absolutely. Grounding the vision to the reality and everything in between is where my coaches have made the biggest difference.
Yeah. Sometimes it's bigger, but sometimes it's smaller, but it's real.
Yeah. And so what you bring up for me, Dave, is a lot of the transformation process is uncomfortable. And I will not walk myself through it. In fact, there's a reason I won't look at a lot of the things that I'm going through. And that's why I pay somebody to be that for me. And what can you say about that?
Well, the myth is everyone's like, we want to change, we want to grow, we want to. No, they don't. I mean, because those are such beautiful words, growth. Who wouldn't be pro-growth? But when you give it real language, like just working out, you really want to be sore? Really?
Yeah.
You want to hobble and not be able, you want all that lactic acid in your legs after leg day? No, not really. Like you want to limp, you want to feel, no, they don't want that. They want a beautiful body, but they don't really want the consequences. And all you have to do is go, okay, let's run our 5 miles today. And they're like, I think I'm done with this. Can we get a donut? And you realize everyone wants to theoretically grow, but real growth, as you mentioned, is moving out of the comfort zone into kind of the growth zone. And the growth zone is very uncomfortable. There's no growth in the comfort zone, but there's no comfort in the growth zone. And so most people are like, this is not what I wanted. I wanted growth. And I don't know what they thought that was going to be, but it's painful and hard and challenging, and it's really
Yeah.
changing paradigms. All the defenses you've been living with your whole life, a coach can come in and start to dismantle those. And it's like, oh yikes, I don't feel very good here. I don't feel very competent here. Yes,
Mm,
anything that you've never done before, you're not going to feel competent. It's going
mm,
to feel awkward. You're
mm,
going to need courage. That's why I don't even work with clients. If they don't have enough courage, done. We're out,
mm.
because it's going to be challenging.
Totally. So, this company, Dave, this is perfect because this company is founded on what if everybody in the world had a coach, right? That's our mission. How do we make that attractive? What is the link between I want growth, but I don't want growth. I don't want to work, right? But so I've always said, look, we just put the carrot. We find whatever people want is what they want, and we can show them how to get that, right? But I don't know, what do you see about that, or what is the access for people to realize? Just so what? It's uncomfortable, right? Like step in, let's go. What is that about?
Well, I would love to think everyone would want a coach, because everyone would want to grow, but they don't. Some want a couch. It's like, give me a nap and a bag of Doritos. Um,
Yeah.
so coaching, I think there's nothing, there's no judgment for people. Everyone gets their own life. And if you want a couch and you just want to chill and you just want, you're comfortable with your life and you like where you're at, fantastic. I think coaching is for all those people that are discontent with average, mediocre, and vanilla. Coaches
Mhm.
are for people who are like, you know what? I want to go for the golden ring. I want to shoot for the stars. I want to push myself. I want to see how far I can go. They're going to have to be comfortable with failure, like lifting weights. You lift
Mm.
and you go, I got it. Okay, try more. I got it with a little bit of help. And then you go, oh, I can't do that. I need help. Okay, good. We found your limit. And now we'll see how we can build you to like get past that.
Mm.
So I think coaching is for adventurers, trailblazers, pioneers, people with some grit and gumption, a little piss and vinegar in their personality, maybe a little
Sure.
Tabasco in their soul. Um, if that's not their game, I'm like, it's okay. You don't need a coach. Just do your life.
Yeah.
But there's some people who are like, I don't want to just do life. We don't know how long we have. You can ask Kobe Bryant that. Our days are
Mm.
numbered, and they come and they go, and not always at our request. So I think coaching is for dangerous people who are like, I think I want to blow something up and make an impact. I'm like, you came to the right guy.
Love that. Love that. Well, so one thing I got to take issue with is this is the stuff of life, though. Like universally, when you transform something, everybody who does it is like, yes, like that's what it's about, right? Like, that's the most satisfying feeling. It's like what drives the next transformation. And while you could argue that, yeah, everybody hits a place in life where they're good, they're content, and an area or a context of life that they're like want to sit the couch out. There's some area of life that is beckoning. It is yearning inside of the human being to transform. And whether or not they know it, they have enough tolerance or enough pain that it's time to stop tolerating it. It's time
Right?
to start getting to it. So what's your, I don't know, what do you hear, or what's your call to action there, or what can we blast to the world? What is it?
Well, one, I mean, we've talked about this, but one, if you have the right coach, it's fun.
Yeah.
So it's who wants just pain? I don't want just pain. But if you're with someone that knows how to enjoy life, if you know they're not judgmental, a lot of people don't even want to go to the gym because they feel overweight, and it's like, I feel too overweight to go. It's like,
Mm,
that's why you do want to go, but you need someone to go, we're just going to go as we are, and we're just going to take it a day at a time. And you're with someone that actually loves you and cares for you and is for
mm,
you, and you can have fun with. You get out there and all of a sudden it's like, actually, this is a lot funner than I thought. And they get more comfortable with failing. They get more comfortable with trying. They start to see
mm,
results. And of course, once you start to see results, it's like, oh my gosh, I lost 2 pounds. I lost 4 pounds. Wow, I'm fitting the pants I wore when I was in high school. Then it starts to get exciting, but it takes time, right? There's some people who are like, I want a coach, maybe a personal trainer, and I want to get in shape in 2 weeks because I have a high school reunion. It's like, It doesn't happen in 2 weeks.
Right.
If you have 90 days, if you've got 3 months and you're willing to be consistent, you can see some movement. If you got 6 months, you'll see some great movement. You got a year? Wow. We can do some work. You're in,
Yeah.
I'm in, we could do it together. And then it's very, very exciting. And then hopefully it's transformative enough. People go, I don't even want to go back.
Mm, exactly.
This just wasn't for the prom or getting ready for wedding pictures or something. I like my new life. Like I have
Mhm.
more energy, more drive, more joy. This is how to do it.
Yes, yes, sir. And what you brought up was the right coach. The right coach does make all the difference.
Absolutely.
But, I think the reason I was extremely attracted to you and what I can acknowledge you for is the amount of love and appreciation and acceptance. And love includes all that, but it's just like yours is distinct in the world. And I want to know, like, one, how does another coach even get there? How is it that I aspire to even grow that? But, I think that's part of like the element that kind of universally takes over, like, oh, I want to be with this person, right? But what can you say to that?
Well, you certainly have what it takes, Brian. I mean, you're the total package. I mean, you're just a great guy. But coaching for a lot of people is a little bit transactional. They're trying to just it's their job. They're trying to make some money. I didn't get a PhD to be a coach or
Hmm.
have some certification. I became a physician of the soul because I really want to help people, and I've put years and years and years and lots of money into that. So some coaches are just a little more transactional. Maybe they're running a program. You do 6 of these or 4 of those, or you take 2 classes. It's hard to see transformation there. There's going to be insight for sure. There could be real learning, things that they'd never seen before. But I agree with you. I think transformation really happens when a person feels loved. Unfortunately, in my own practice, it's not like I need to take clients, so I can be selective, right? I don't want to work with
Sure.
someone who I don't really, connect with. And I wouldn't suggest they work with me if there wasn't a little bit of chemistry or camaraderie there. But once you have that, it is a game changer, because now we're not going through a program, even though there's things we're working on and goals we're aspiring to and stuff we're doing.
Hmm.
They start to feel like, really the heartfelt needs of humanity, which is I feel loved, I feel secure, I have a place to belong, I have someone who's for me. In the military, we say no man left behind. And a lot of my clients, right, they have 24/7 access. So they don't feel like they're in a program. I may meet with them once a week at a certain time, but it's like I can text Dave or call or, hey, I have a quick question, or pray for me, or whatever it is. And then
Hmm.
all of a sudden it's like, wow, we're on a journey together.
Mm.
And sometimes that's the first time they've had anyone that really loves them through the things that are complex for them, because a lot of people love us through the good stuff, through the dance recitals, through the sports events, through the things we do well. But they don't love us through our panic attacks, our eating disorders, our struggles, our financial wobbles, our marriage problems, whatever. A
Mm.
coach who loves them and is confidential and competent can do that. And that's like, oftentimes people say, this, I've never had this before.
Well,
Not in my worst places. I've never had this.
and Dave, the thing is, I talk to a lot of coaches, right? And nobody talks about that. Nobody actually talks about the love that they're putting out, that they're showing their clients. Like, I feel like everybody has this passive, sometimes I'll get to this point where I love them, but like, it was clear you came in and your presence is loving. It's who you are. So, as a, for me to put you on a pedestal for a second, it's really like, come on, give us the sermon. Like, give us, what is it that has us be, how do I get like that?
Oh, you're funny. Well, I don't even know how to respond to that. But, in all humility, look, God has been very gracious to me. So I feel certainly loved by him. So there's certainly some love and light that comes with just knowing that the creator of the universe loves you. I have a beautiful wife of 33 years. I have no idea how I was so fortunate to land her and just finagle her into like hooking up with me, but she's amazing. I've got 5 grown kids. They're very loving and gracious. I'm fortunate to have friends like you, Brian, that are just so cool and so fun to journey with. I'm just kind of blessed. I really don't feel like there's any merit I can take other than people have been kind to me. But I think that is part of the journey, which is we all have to steward our souls and go find places where you get resourced and you get loved and you get good stuff, because you can't give something away you don't have.
Mm.
You can't give something away you don't have. I
Mm.
remember working with college students back in the day when I was a professor. And one of the students came home from like spring break and said, my dad, kind of gave me a hug over Easter break or something, but I could tell like he didn't know what he was doing. And I said, well, how'd you feel? Did you feel like it was neat? He tried, and he said, it was so hollow. I just wish my dad would have gotten what he needed
Mm.
and then came and gave it to me. But my dad's just trying to give something to me he doesn't have. And I
Mm.
thought, wow, that's insightful, because probably his dad wasn't very loving or caring, and his dad's dad, and it kind of went down. But he's like, I'm like, what do you want your dad to do? And he's like, go get it.
Yeah.
Like, go get some friends and get love so you can love me better. But he's trying to give me something he doesn't actually have. And I
Mm.
think he noted like it's a noble attempt, but it doesn't cut the mustard.
Mm.
So I think coaching is a great way to say, maybe there's some things I didn't get. Maybe a coach can help me get some of those things so I can now bring them to my friendships, my workplace, my home.
Mm. Yeah, I just really heard like ending the cycle of our generations and the things that I'm carrying on that my father passed to me. And yeah, I mean, I know I've put a lot of stopped inside of my own communication barriers, and like I'm not just gonna have that, right? My child's gonna have the experience at least to the best of my ability,
That's right.
as he did to me, right? And so I guess I just see evolution of humanity, right, is what's really happening.
Yep.
And that's really what I'd love to talk about next, which is the coach naturally becomes the partner, right? And teammate, and the group dynamic, and something we like to call cooperative consciousness forms. And like, it's frankly the best parts of life is past what you got going on in here, right? It's like what's happening here. And the coach is like a great entryway into what that is. Can you speak to that?
Well, anytime two people are open and they trust each other and there's freedom and ritual space created for them to share what's really going on in their head and what they're thinking, great stuff always happens.
Mm.
Sometimes it takes people weeks and months and years to actually trust, put their toe in the water and try. That's why finding a coach and friends that you feel like care about you and you trust, and they have some competence and character, and they're going to hold the confidentiality. You don't have to be fearful. Like, they know anything they share is going to be kept in confidence. I don't share
Mm.
anything with my wife, kids, friends, anyway. It's all professional.
Mm.
That creates that room for them to like start to open their mind. And a lot of people do get stuck. A lot of mental illness is basically people getting stuck in their head.
Mm.
And you know this, and people we work with know this. You could be brilliant and a genius, but you can have a little bit of a critical conscience. You can have a little Nazi rally going on in your head at times. I am shocked how people can be so brutal with themselves. So to have the freedom to get that in the space and then have someone see it from a different angle and love someone through that is very, very helpful.
Oh man. Like the things all humans deal with, right? And just like, so what is possible if everybody in the world had a coach? What do you see as possible?
Well, all kinds of things are possible. I think that the things that people ultimately want, apart from like riches, material things, boats, houses, mansions, cars, diamonds, what people want is they want to be loved, they want to belong, they want security, they want a life that has meaning, they want significance, they want to be able to be with someone who actually sees them, hears them, they want a sense of like, I feel known,
Mm.
that they have value, that there's dignity there. I mean, all the things that are part of life. And when people have that, they're less neurotic, they're less paranoid, they're able to tolerate the kind of all the broken things that happen in a fallen world, like when someone cuts you off on the freeway and the refrigerator breaks and the kids spill the milk. It's like, it's okay.
Mm.
I'm okay. Like,
Mm.
I can absorb that. Like, I actually can do life in a broken world. I don't need to hit every green light to
Mm.
be okay, because they're not all green, as you know. And you don't want to be going, oh, because when we're not doing well, we're just quite frankly easily provoked and
Mm.
angry and unhappy and grumpy, and we're not sleeping, and then we don't eat well. And ah, it's a death spiral.
Mm, yes, totally. And what you just showcased so well is that not everybody in the world has to have a coach. One more person in the world getting coaching is beneficial, right? So we're going to hit the tipping point. We'll get there. And this is how we're going to connect humanity. That's what I say. Yeah.
And what I love that you're doing is you're really opening it up that if you want a coach or you're tired of doing life solo,
Mm,
alone, and you want someone in the journey, you are doing your work to make sure every person who wants it can find it and it's available to them. And I think that's just terrific. I
totally.
wish it for everyone.
Right on. Well, we appreciate you and your promotion. So, you know what? There's a bunch of questions I got. And one, I want to talk specifically about your models. And some of the things I've seen is the warrior model, right? And you speak a lot to the warrior. And any other models that come to you that, maybe I haven't seen or know of, how is it that you utilize them and why are they important to you? What do you say?
Well, my coaching practice has evolved over the last 20 or 30 years. And what I have noticed is there's more and more women coaches than there are men coaches. And it seems easier for my wife and three daughters to ask for help than it does for my two sons and me.
Mm,
So I've developed a little bit of a personal passion being an NCAA men's basketball referee, where I'm always with alpha athletes and coaches, for years and years. I have a little bit as a soft spot for men that tend to be a little more alpha oriented, a little bit, the soldier who comes back and he really doesn't want to look weak. He
mm,
doesn't want to act like he has problems. But, if he had like a little bit of camaraderie with someone he trusted, he would do well to like get a little bit of help. But he
mm,
doesn't want to be a weenie, right? He wants to
right.
still like have a masculine posture. So I do use a lot of alpha warrior language. We live in a culture that seems to be demonizing men and putting men down. They
Mm,
seem to think that men that really are vigilant providers and protectors somehow are toxic.
mm,
Certainly, look, there's toxic people everywhere, so men are certainly
sure.
not exempt. But for those people in general, I want them to know, I know life can be a battle. And I believe they are warriors. Just
Mm,
getting up every morning at the mornings they get up and hit the LA traffic, and because I'm in Los Angeles, it's like, and you do that every day, and then you fight crazy corporate culture and you work hard, and then you come home and try to love your wife and then get to your kids' practice and then go to your daughter's dance recital and on and on. I'm like, you're a warrior. And that's just my way of letting them know you're not just domestic dad.
mm,
The intrinsic, visceral, masculine prototype inside them is noticed even in a modern world. Like,
mm.
thank you for fighting the good fight. Thanks for paying the bills. Thanks for like getting out of your own depression and like trying to serve your family. And so for those guys, certainly I love working with women. They're so easy to work with, in my opinion. But the guys, I just have a little bit of like, these warriors, we've got to help them because the Marlboro Man doesn't. That's just a myth, right? No one
Mm.
can do it alone. Even Batman needs Robin. So I'm eager to take every Top Gun out there and say, if you want a wingman on your flank, look, you're going to fight better in the battle. Every
Mm.
boxer knows when you have a coach in your corner, you throw better punches and you win more rounds. So I want those guys in particular to know. Dave's your fan.
Yeah, man. Love that. And that is the clientele. Love it. Um, you know, when the thing I would take from it for myself, who I feel like certainly socialized to be the alpha male, right? And I got plenty of privilege, right? I'm very much aware of, I'm relatively good looking. I'm a tall white
Very
male.
good.
Like I got a lot going for me, right?
Yes, you do.
And inside of that, I feel like I've certainly come, I wouldn't say full circle because there's no full circle to be completed. It keeps evolving, but I've found much of my feminine side. But now where I find myself applying and really utilizing the warrior spirit is for myself. And inside of
Absolutely.
that side, and I want you to speak a little bit to this, that part of myself that is lazy, that wants to sit on the couch. Like when it is, I am finally overcoming that part, because wherever you are, I feel like you have that threshold. This voice is saying, nah, don't do that. it's
Yeah.
dangerous, right?
Yeah.
And it's that warrior spirit that I have to summon to get over that.
Yeah.
Any advice, insight, anything you see about that or want to say?
About you personally?
No, no, about that in general. Well, I'm sure a personal
Why
too,
not?
I'll take it.
Why not make it personal?
Sure, why not? Why not? I'm
Uh,
an open book. I am here for society and
I
humanity.
love it. I love it. I love it. Well, for you, look, if I were candid, right, I'd say you're too nice.
Okay.
You're just too nice a guy. Look, nice guys aren't going to get it done.
Okay.
So I'd be like, "Where's the tiger, Brian? Where's the
Okay.
tiger? Like, bring him out." Because and maybe you're fearful of it. Maybe I don't know your history, you know, and your whole story, but maybe you're afraid of anger or overdoing it, or maybe you saw people be
It's
mean, or whatever,
overdoing it. It's
you know.
definitely, I've been in the place of overdoing it has happened
Okay.
many times.
So I'm like, well, let's practice it. I'd like to see how it works for you. And let's see if we can like channel it. Because what happens is guys overdo it. They get too physical, too angry, too something. They drink too much, you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they shut it off.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, Mr. Rogers isn't going to get it done.
Mm.
Tiptoeing through life is not going to get it done. We got to haul ass. Well, I could fall down. You are going to fall down. Get up, brush yourself off, and let's go.
Mm.
So, you know, there are guys, you know, even you, I think, could have a little more of that tiger, a little more alpha. Look, the alpha male, the only alpha the culture talks about is like the most bombastic, belligerent, cuckoo alphas. The true
Sure.
alphas, I mean, Jesus was an alpha and
Sure.
omega, by the way. And he didn't have an army, and he wasn't like, but he knew how to clear out the temple when he needed to.
Yeah.
But he knew how to hug children and love people and heal people too.
Mm.
So the real alpha really realizes it's not about himself, but he has the gumption and the grit and the courage and the, you know, the bravery to face life for the benefit of other people and lay his own rights down to provide and protect others. And to help
Mm.
guys do that, they can't just be nice guys.
Mm.
That's not going to happen. So, you know, for every guy that's a little too nice and wants to go up a notch, I'm like, let's do it.
Yes, let's. Because everybody needs that. Everybody needs a little kick and be able to let that out.
Look, if I'm working with a sniper, you know, and all he knows how to do is punch people, it's like, okay, time out. We need to like work on etiquette, social courtesies, like how to do a handshake without crushing a guy's hand, like
Right.
how to like work in the nursery and help with kids. Like they need to bring it down. But a lot of the guys you and I probably traverse are really nice guys and they're good guys. And I certainly don't want to demean that. But that's not going to get it done when it comes to evil in the world.
Hmm.
That's not going to get it done when it comes to like the real problems we have to face.
Let's talk about that. Evil. What is that? Where does that exist? Because I'll even say for myself, evil doesn't exist, right? It's just a faction of life. There is humanity in all of its ranges, and everybody has capacity to be evil in some range, right? But it's a perspective, is what I would say. But what do you say? What is evil? How is it real? Is it tangible? Where is it?
Well, it sure looks real when I watch the news at night. You know, I'm just like, it looks like there's a lot of BS going on with some really crazy stuff between drug trafficking, blowing people's homes up, terrorism, torturing people, taking advantage of people, rape, crime. It's like there's obviously a problem. Look, I don't think God created evil. I think God created good. But the deprivation of the good is evil. You could take your car and it's a good car. It was created good. It was created clean. But if you just leave it out front for a month and don't do anything, it'll start to rust. And the rust is the deprivation of taking care of the good. Everything, the second law of thermodynamics is always going to undo the universe and even our own soul. Entropy, right? We're going to like start to, if you don't take care of it, just do that with your body. Don't do anything for a year. You'll see like, oh my goodness, everything's sagging, dropping, you know, unraveling. So evil is the deprivation of the good. So if we can inspire people to remain on the good, the noble, the pure, the beautiful, the upright, the empowering, we're going to see great stuff. But not everyone's committed to that.
Hmm.
There are Mussolinis, Hitlers, Stalins, Gaddafis, people in our own country, the red and the blue in terms of politics. They don't even listen to each other.
Hmm.
You know,
The
they're
other side is
modeling
evil.
for it. It's like that's not helpful.
Hmm.
So yes, I think evil is real, and the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
It's good men to do nothing. So we said, okay, got it. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So obviously, a lot of my personal life is about, you know, making sure people, you know, have the rights, the empowerment, and the enablement to like confront evil and know it is going to happen.
Hmm.
I wish it didn't, but we don't live in Eden and we're not in heaven yet that I'm aware of. So it's like, as long as we live here in a broken, fallen world, we're going to have to deal with that. And I think the best thing is, you know, you get chivalrous men that don't allow the craziness to happen. You're going to have a safer world for all of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Got that. Well, you know, this brings me.
Let me add one more thought to that, though, because that
please.
could be out here. I still would tell every client I work with, though, apart from all that out there in the world, the most likely person, I'll take you, for example, Brian, to ruin your life is you. I mean, as much as evil is real, the most likely person to ruin my life is me. So here's where coaching becomes immensely practical. Look, we can talk about all the world stuff out there, but ultimately, if you steward yourself well, that's going to be very helpful, because the way my own mind could be cruel, diminish, frame something, you know, is the most likely thing to create a miserable life for me. Not the likelihood of someone breaking into my home or whatever. That's all possible, but that's not how most people's lives are ruined. They ruin themselves.
Well said. Well said. Good capstone on that one. Well, and this, you know, I'm curious around what your thoughts are here, because I've often thought around where we are in society. I feel like we've collectively come to a point where we used good and bad, right, as a way to shepherd what we like or what we agree on. And then from good and bad, it became right and wrong, the ethics of things, what's right and what is wrong. And frankly, I'm advocating and saying that those conversations are the limits of where society is. They are holding us back. That making myself feel wrong, like that, it's the antithesis of love, first off. But the next conversation I guess I'm advocating for is not what's right and wrong, not even what's good and bad, which is below right and wrong, I think is an evolution of mind. Right and wrong, it's what's going to work. Like, that's the only question is, does it work or does it not work? So evil things, right, in that category definitely don't work. That doesn't work. And if we start talking about the integrity of things, whether or not something will work or not, and in what level does it work, the optimal levels, right? That's what I'm advocating is like the next conversation we should all be having. Don't ever bring to me, that was wrong, or that's right. Like, that doesn't work. What do you see? What do you say?
I like it. It's an interesting thought. I definitely love being pragmatic, but I'm not a pragmatist. I don't think whatever works is the noble, the right, and the good. Quite frankly, taking out a few of my neighbors would really help me solve the noise problem and a few other things. And it works, really. If I just
It would
take
work.
a 22 to their head and burying them in my backyard, look, I would solve that problem, and it works great. But there still, in my opinion, are rights and wrongs. There's certainly a lot of gray in life and a lot of freedom. I don't like moralists who are always like binary in their thinking. It's this, it's that, it's this and that. But I do think there are some ethics, there are some standards, there are the 10 commandments that are very important to live within those lane lines. I think there's a lot of generous room within those lane lines, but I do think there's right and wrong. And then within those lane lines, I think doing the things that are pragmatic, helpful, and that actually work are great. But there are some things outside those lane lines that are pragmatic, but they work. They work for the mafia, quieted a lot of people down, but it's wrong.
Yeah, got that.
So
Yeah,
I kind of have maybe an integrative model of that.
yeah, well, I think that's great. Part of the conversation that you bring is because what works for one person and doesn't work for another doesn't work, right? So it really does have to work for both of us or all of us if we're going to align on it, right? And that's a great point. So love that you brought that. Let me ask you, before I ask, where do we get a hold of you and like, how do I find out more about Dave's coaching? If this is your stage for the world and you're advocating the banner you're holding, like, what is your message? What do you want to say?
My message is Brian's amazing. Stay connected to Brian Ray. He's going to help you. I'm a Brian fan.
Yes, they got it.
I think you got my message. My message is, look, life is short. We don't have a lot of time while we're here. Let's do the best we can. Sometimes the best we can is better with someone else. So find a grandpa, find a good friend, get a spouse, get some people in your corner, build a little tribe. But if you find that you don't know how to fix the plumbing in your house, get a plumber. If you don't know how to do your taxes, get a tax man. If the car stuff is too complicated, get a car guy. And if your dreams are big and you want to go further, faster, get a coach. Do as much of life as you can, but bring in people. I have a doctor and a dentist and a chiropractor and a lot of people who help me to do life well. So steward your life and bring good people in so you can live well, and then spend your life serving people and loving people and giving it away. I mean, go after dreams and stuff you want, but eventually even that gets boring. The great joy is like giving yourself to other people. So
couldn't be said better than that, Dave. Way to end it. Love it. Well, first, before we do end, where can we get a hold of you? Where is it that we would contact you? How do we be with Dave?
Well, they certainly can contact you because you and I are connected. They can go straight to my email if they want, dave@drdavewhite.com. My website is drdavewhite.com. That's drdavewhite.com. They can go there. And I'm on a lot of social platforms, Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook and stuff. My goal there is just to bless people and encourage people. But anyone who's connected to you is a friend of mine because you're such a great guy. So it'd be fun to connect.
Awesome. Well, you know how much I appreciate and love you, and I just love the presence you are in the world. It's clear to me, and the world needs more of that. So if anybody needed a role model, Dave White, he's your guy.
Brian's your guy, but if you need a backup, then go with me.
Right on, brother.